seem insane to you, the schedule that you're keeping?
Yeah, it's weird to get up. If I get up at 5:15, I'm in studio by 10:06 because I don't have the pressure that those guys do, man. My job is different than their job. So it's a little less pressure, a lot less pressure actually. And then I'll go home, try to nap, and then I'll go on stage that night. I go on every night. So it is a lot, but I'm on stage a lot. So now it's like the hour I did for HBO. I'm trying really hard not to do any of that material anymore. So now I'm on stage, eating my balls a lot because I'm trying new stuff. And, it's fun, though. I don't know how guys do the same shit for 10 years. It's like, how the fuck do you say that again? You know what I mean? Believe me, as a performer, there's certain things I fucking harped on that, believe me, I'm sick of when they come out of my mouth. I don't know how you do an entire hour for 10 years. You should just blow your brains out.
Well, looking at stand-up as an art form, if, let's say, you were a songwriter, you would almost be forced to do the early stuff. Where when people come out to see you, even your biggest fans do not want to hear the stuff that they heard last time they saw you.
I think the jokes are contingent upon kind of catching you off guard. Like a joke's a weird thing, and I think that's funny about musicians. Like, you lucky motherfuckers. Axl could come back now if he got over his stupid fear of performing, whatever it is, and just do Welcome to the Jungle, and people would go nuts. And it's like, you fucking lucky bastard, man. I have to have new shit.
He's got that for the rest of his life.
Yes, he does.
And even if you don't make some kind of leap, now they're doing, he's doing that Norton thing. I mean, that happened with Kinnison, where he would write new material, but they went, it somewhat reminds me of.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really, I think the audiences are tougher on a comic than any other art form that there is out there.
There's something very personal about it. And it makes me love the audience, and it makes me hate them, because, again, they groan and they judge it. It's like, you fucking cocksucker, you love Scarface, you love violence, and then you're mad, you're going to sit there and try to impress your fucking date by groaning at me. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. They're performing too. I know what the fuck they're doing. It's
not crazy about those folks.
I hate them. They're like special interest groups in front of you. They're just, it's fraudulent outrage.
At any point you ever say to yourself, too, I wonder why there's not more critical acceptance for this kind of work where, no one's going to be really writing up, Bob Kelly's new act in Rolling Stone and, I caught him here. It's still, as big as comedy, gets from time to time and settles back down, it never is up there with the other art forms.
Well, yeah, and I tell you, Keith Robinson, who had a great way of phrasing it, because a lot of the guys that run comedy and are critics, none of them are funny, or most of them are not funny. He put it beautifully. He said they're front of the bus guys. Not in a tough guy way, but most comics are the fucking clowns that sat in the back of the bus and teased each other and acted like assholes. The guys that run the business and are critics are guys that hated that deep down, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it, so they resented it, but they have to be a part of it somehow. A lot of them are people that wanted to perform. Most critics somehow wanted to be involved, but they didn't have what it took. They're fucking wannabes. And so most critics, we all want critical acceptance. I'd be a liar if I said I didn't, because it helps you sell more tickets. But most critics, when you strip them of everything, are fucking wannabes. And they're resentful. And they will say things are great because it seems brilliant to say certain things are great. And I'm sure sometimes they genuinely love things, but they will trash other things that they think the masses like because for some reason they're brilliant and the masses are stupid. So most critics, I detest.
Do you read everything that's written about you? Are you able to do that, even the message board stuff?
Most stuff I read is negative.
It is kind of funny that you say that because through the book you rip on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really, really tough on yourself physically. And I remember, thinking, does this guy know that he's had the HBO specials, best-selling book, he's on the biggest morning show in the country right now, he's done Kimmel, Letterman, Leno. I can't think of another comic who's done stand-up on all three of those shows. I don't think anybody is touching the output of work that you're doing right now, and it doesn't seem to mean shit to you at all.
No, no.
It's odd.
I mean, I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
I acknowledge, understand it. It's good. But the old expression, wherever I went, there I was. I mean, that stuff is not going to make me feel great about myself. Because, that stuff is just, it's outside shit. It's like my problem with me or my dislike of me has always been there. And it probably always will be. I mean, I'm almost afraid to lose it.
Because that would mean what?
I don't know what I would have to say anymore because I've been thinking that way for so long. The thinking is real. It's not a little hat I put on when I go to a club. I mean, it's just the way I think. And a lot of people think that way, which is why some people hate me because they might not or they get sick of it. But people who really relate to it, I think, like it.
But at any point do you answer yourself and say, who else, working today has done this stuff? I mean, if you're not going to feel good about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good for moments. I'm almost too scared of feeling too good and becoming complacent. Because what drives me is like feeling awful. So I'm kind of afraid of being too comfortable or too happy, because those guys, then their lives come, and their second special sucks dick because they were too happy going to the Hamptons or going to, L.A. I'm almost afraid to enjoy it too much.
Yeah, I don't think you got to worry about that. I think you are so far away from enjoying it even a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little. Maybe just to look back and say, Jesus Christ.
Well, I hate looking at myself, man. Like, I was watching the special. I had to edit the HBO special, and I'm watching it. I'm like, you muggy, ugly motherfucker. It's all I'm thinking watching. Like, because I laughed at one thing. I'm like, yeah, you fucking asshole. And I'm just alone. I mean, I'm not. If you see the special when I come out, I really should have a fucking frying pan buried my head. I walk out and I go, thank you! I go, thank you! And I will never watch that special and not fucking cringe when I see that opening thank you.
That thank you ruined everything for you.
But I think it's every performer, I think, has that, as we focus on the negative, or at least the comedians do. I don't know what goes into making, I kind of resent actors in a sense, because I think that they resent me. A lot of sketch artists and sketch comics don't look at stand-up like it's this, and it's like, fuck you, man. You stand there and fucking tolerate that shit. You're running around 5 other guys on stage. Freeze! Go fuck yourself. And I don't resent them for doing that, but I resent them for this weird look I have, because it really is a weird vibe people have about comedy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're right, it's not put as high, I guess, because the critics don't look at it the same way until they have to. Like, Sam's a guy they never would have fucking liked. You know what I mean? Because they're the guy he hated. He was obnoxious and vicious and loud. But once so many people accepted him, they kind of had to go, all right,
Right.
It went beyond just the dumb masses. He got tremendous. It was like you'd be a dummy to deny that he was great. And that's when a lot of times critics would go, all right, he's great. Because they kind of, their backs are against the wall.
But then also they turned on him quick enough, too. I mean, towards the end of his life, it wasn't that easy on him.
Yeah, I mean, I've only met him once. I met Kinison one time. I got him to sign a napkin. I'm very grateful I did that, because I still have it. He autographed the napkin for me. We talked for a couple of minutes. And I think what happens to a lot of guys is they change to a certain degree because they get caught up with drugs, or their lives change and their act somehow changes. Because then Kinison all of a sudden was a rock star, man. He wasn't just a comedian anymore. He was a rock star, and there was a different vibe to him, I think. And still was very funny. But I think people a lot of times don't want to see you doing that well, because they can no longer feel like they relate to you.
All right, we're going to also take some questions from the audience. You can always walk up to this mic, and we'll call on you from time to time. Earl will be over there. We are talking with Jimmy Norton, who's got an HBO special. Also, the book, Happy Endings, is still in the stores, still in the charts. And every morning you can hear him on the O&A show.
Yes.
For you, the book, totally different from the act. It doesn't. It seems to have almost a different pacing than your act.
Yeah, that's why it was weird doing the book on tape. I'd actually like to redo that, because I'm not happy. I allowed somebody to dictate to me how to say it, because I'd never done it, but I'll never do that again. But the cadence, some of that stuff's in the act, but majority of it is not. When comedians just put their act on paper, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's cheating, man. It's like you're just fucking whoring the same shit they paid to hear, and now you want them to pay to fucking read it on the plane, you dickhead. There's something really dishonest about that. So the cadence is different of writing for me. I love to write, but it's hard to write now that I'm back on the radio, because I'm creatively satisfied. Most of that was written when we were off the air, and I was manically depressed, and I had no outlet. So I would just come home after fucking literally spending the entire night looking for whores, and just depressed and wanting to leap out a window and just write. I had to do something. So that's why that book was even written.
All right, so you're still doing stand-up.
Yeah.
You're also doing the Comedy Central show, but not having the morning show, not having the radio show. That's still got your head. Like, there's still some need to get out there.
I hated God. I hated him. Because, again, it's not like, your radio show got canceled, but I'm like, I finally found something where I'm succeeding and I love it, and you take it away, man. It's gone. It was like, I never thought I was going to go anywhere in comedy. And I finally have something because O&A was so fucking good to me, and I'm like, selling tickets in certain places, and now it's gone. Oh, yeah, that's right, you're Jimmy Norton. Like, that's how it felt like. It was that exposure. Like, see, it was a fucking illusion, stupid. So Colin, who I love, Colin Quinn. I mean, when people don't like Colin Quinn, you're a dummy if you don't understand how funny he is. Even if he doesn't make you laugh, if you don't understand how funny he is and understand how brilliant he is, you're an idiot. Because comedians all adore him. Because we understand how there's nobody better. Tough Crowd was not about the issues, ever. It was about us, our awful relationships with each other. And that was Colin's genius, is dissecting relationships. Nobody can pick apart true personal interactions better than him and accurately. And that's what it was about, just a bunch of idiots who were trying to speak about the issues and then just degenerating into shut your mouth,